a game changer in food safety training, a fun interactive board game. But your staff also have access to online videos and food safety book. Promoting positive food safety culture, trained staff are better for your business, simply safer. The food safety board game, working in primary authority partnership with Cornwall Council. Welcome to another bitesize podcast. We're doing it on pink burgers. Why is it unsafe to have a pink burger? We've got visuals, so if you can watch the visuals, it might make more sense, but I'm going to hopefully describe it so you can just listen as well. So my first question is, why can you have a rare steak, but you cannot have a rare burger? So the reason is if you take your steak, you've got your steak here, and you've got your bacteria is on the outside of the steak. So what you're eating is a piece of muscle meat. The bacteria is on the outside. If you take that steak and you mince it all up, so you've minced it all up, it's all mushed up, all of that piece of muscle is now is mincemeat basically, and then they mold it into a burger. Where is that bacteria gone? It was on the outside. Where has it gone now that it's been through the mincer? It is now all the way through that burger. Now, when you have a rare steak, you cook the outside. So by cooking the outside, you've killed the bacteria on the outside. So it's safe. The muscle on the inside of that cooked steak, that sealed steak, it's not cooked, but sealed, has been killed. So therefore, it's safe to eat. But if you have the burger and you just cook the outside, you've still got bacteria in the middle. And that bacteria then hasn't been killed because it hasn't got hot enough. And the main bacteria that we're worried about, there was a massive case in America, Jack in a Box case. There's a Netflix documentary is worth watching. It's called Poisoned, and it describes what happened in America with the Jack in a Box case. They served undercooked burgers, and the bacteria we're worried about is E. coli. And this is Shigella toxin forming bacteria. And what happens is you consume the bacteria, it multiplies inside you. So it's a foodborne bacteria. Those are the ones that multiply inside you. And as they multiply, the toxins are formed, and those are the ones that make you ill. E. coli 0157, there's various forms of them. They make you seriously ill. They can seriously affect your kidneys. You can have something called HUS. Don't ask me to say that out loud. Hemolytic uremia syndrome, I think is what it stands for. Basically, it knackers your kidneys. If children get it, so children that go to petting farms, there's animals about, they touch the animals, they put their hands in the mouth, and then they get ill from it. So that's one of the sources of outbreaks. So E. coli from pink burgers was an issue. That's why you shouldn't eat pink burgers. You can eat a pink steak, but not a pink burger. Now, there are ways that the Food Standards Agency have issued guidance, and there are 3 methods in which you can prepare a steak that's pink. Number 1, seal and shave. Seal and shave. So you seal the outside of the muscle, then you shave off the outside, and then the inside technically is a ready-to-eat product. That's how you do steak tartare and carpaccio. You've killed the bacteria on the outside, so the inside is a ready-to-eat meat. Number 2, you can cook it to a time temperature ratio that achieves the same as 75 degrees. Or pasteurization. We talked about time temperature ratios on the Bacillus cereus podcast, if you want to go back to that one. But basically, most things are cooked to 75 degrees. That's your general standard. You could cook the burger at 65 degrees for 10 minutes in the middle. It has to be a core temperature of 65 for 10. That can be done in a water bath, so you can keep the temperature at 65 degrees. You achieve a core temperature in the middle for 10 minutes, and that would make a safe burger. But you have to prove that you can achieve that. Don't go doing any of this. You would need to validate your process. So you'd have to prove that your process would achieve this. And the third one is where you get your burgers from a supplier that is approved to supply burgers that can be less than thoroughly cooked. Pink. But you still have to prove that what you do achieves a safe burger as well. This gets a bit technical. I don't mean to patronize you, that was a bit rude, but basically 75 degrees is a 10 log reduction in bacteria. So the scientists have worked out that if you cook it to 75 degrees, enough bacteria have been killed to make it safe. 10 log is a million. So a million have been killed and it should be safe, or 10 log. By your supplier, so your supplier has less than thoroughly cooked burgers, they are taking away 2 of those logs. If that makes sense. So you've only got to cook to a 4 log reduction, it's called. So you can cook at lower temperatures, but you have to prove, if I cook a burger that has been approved to be cooked less than thoroughly cooked, if I cook it to 60 degrees, does that still produce a safe burger? Have I achieved a 4 log reduction? That requires some thought and some validation of your process. So don't just go, oh, I'm achieving a 4 log reduction. You need to be able to prove it, and you need to know what you're talking about. So those are the Food Standards Agency's 3 methods of if you wanted to cook or produce or sell a less than thoroughly cooked burger. The question that I do want to quickly talk about, where does the bacteria come from? So where's the bacteria on the outside of your steak come from? Okay, if you're a little bit squeamish, don't listen to this. And if you are a good artist, don't judge me for my poor artist skills. So what happens if you think about a cow in the field? Yeah, I'm getting a look. Am I really going here? Yes, I am. So a cow in the field, their bum hole is rather a long way away from the ground, isn't it? So as that poo splats, that's why it's called a cow pat. It pats on the floor and it splats up onto the back of the cow's legs. So it's going in to be killed with, I call it shud. It's a little bit of shit and a little bit of mud on the cow. The bacteria is in there, okay? When they slaughter the animal, there is a risk that the shud off the outside on the hide of the animal will contaminate the meat, and that's how it gets on the outside. The other area where it could be is when they cut the animal in half, there's a risk that they could pierce the guts, and obviously the guts is where the bacteria lives. So you could have what's called a fecal explosion. Most slaughtermen won't do that. They're good at their job. That's a possibility. And then the other places of risk of contamination is when they take the bum hole out, there's another fecal contamination risk. So the slaughterhouses, with additional measures, they will catch the bum hole in a bag when they cut it out. They also do observations of when they take the cow skin off. They make sure there's no contamination. Some of them use like a steam cleaner, and if there's any visual contamination, it's both heat and water or steam remove the bacteria from the outside. So there's really particular, really high standards of slaughter. And then there's the not natural, but the risk of cross-contamination in the slaughtering process. You've got the potential of the contents of the guts contaminating the outside of the finished muscle meat. So that's where the bacteria is coming from in the first place. So what we need to do is, most traditionally in the UK, our history of food would be one where we cook it thoroughly. So therefore it would be killed. But if it's on the outside and you mince it into a burger, you've got the potential for the middle of that burger to have the bacteria in it, that you're not going to kill it if you serve it pink. And that hopefully explains why you shouldn't have a pink burger. Or if you are going to have a pink burger, the 3 recognised safe methods to produce one. I hope that's been useful. Again, any questions, pop them in there and I'll try my best to answer them. Thank you very much. A game changer in food safety training, a fun interactive board game. But your staff also have access to online videos and food safety book. Promoting positive food safety culture, trained staff are better for your business, simply safer. The food safety board game, working in primary authority partnership with Cornwall Council.